What up? This is Rama Screen covering movies, TV, and entertainment, and here's my review of Netflix's new anthology, The House. Hey, before you watch my review, please subscribe to my channel, press that like button, and ring that bell so you can get notified whenever I post new videos. And if you'd like to help support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. Let's rock this. First up, I would like to say thank you to Netflix for granting me the screeners to this new anthology. They've asked me to not spill spoilers, therefore this review is spoiler-free. I repeat, there are no spoilers in this video review. Who knew that one of the most incredibly chilling cinematic experiences this year turns out to be a stop-motion animation special on Netflix? These are very well told, very well written storylines that are both unsettling and profound. Not to mention the memorable and deeply affecting music score by Oscar-winning composer Gustavo Santaolalla. The House is not technically horror, it describes itself as dark comedy, but I'd be lying to you if I said there weren't any hair-raising moments, because the fact is there are. And they all stem from this existential wrestle between what is and what should be. Directed by Mark James Rolls, Emma DeSuave, Nikki Linroth Von Boer, and Paloma Baeza, The House is a three-part eccentric dark comedy about a house and the three surreal tales of the individuals who made it their home. Part 1 is set in the 1800s, when an impoverished Raymond meets a mysterious benefactor who promises to restore both him and his family to their former status. The family soon learns that wants and desires may not always lead you where you expect. Part 2 is set in present day, when a harassed property developer tries to make a quick sale from a renovation. However, some eerie, unexpected guests have other plans and become the catalyst to a more personal transformation. And Part 3 is set in the near future, when the house survives a hugely changed landscape. We meet Rosa, a young landlady determined to stay in her beloved crumbling house and restore it to its former glory, but Rosa's unrealistic vision has blinded her to the inevitable change that is coming and to what matters most. So to further elaborate on the synopsis that I just shared with you, just to be clear, there is only one house. There are no separate houses or separate locations, it's just the house. But the stories take place in three different timelines. The one in the past has to do with some shady Faustian bargain, and the second one is basically a real estate agent who's denying his true nature, and the third one is more or less post-apocalyptic. Each part or each story has its own palette, its own tone, its own texture. The comedy is more significant in the third one, whereas the first two feel more discomforting. But all of the characters' fate and destiny are tied to that house. I know that nowadays, when we think of stop-motion animation, the first thing that comes to mind are either Laika or Aardman, which is understandable because they're the biggest two claymation studios in the business. But this anthology are directed or created by talents who had done stop-motion over the years independently. These are people who are passionate about their craft even when big budgets were not attached to it. So this is a marvelous collaboration produced by Nexus Studios that results in this stunning, mesmerizing feature. Terrific voice actors as well, which includes Matthew Good, Helena Bonham-Carter, Mia Goth. Their voices are very distinct, so you can easily guess which characters they're playing. But whether it be witty or serious, they did a hell of a fine job, all of them. If I were to pick a favorite, I would have to say Part 1 or Story 1. It leaves the biggest impression on me because it's so ghoulish and trippy and kinda sad. It stays with me long after. My least favorite would have to be Part 2 because it has an ew or gross factor to it. Trust me, if you can't stand the sight of creepy crawling critters, and if you still insist on watching Part 2, then proceed with caution. As I implied earlier, all these characters are wrestling with the question of, are they content with who they are and where they are, or is there a price to pay for wishing their lives could be different? And this anthology is not taking sides nor casting judgment either. It all comes down to the wisdom to know which decision to make that's good for you. So while this may be stop-motion animation, it doesn't necessarily mean family friendly. Don't get me wrong, kids are welcome to watch it, but the house has big, complicated themes that only grown-ups can fully wrap their head around. So yes, I highly recommend this thinking man anthology, The House.